Hi, I'm Amy Romeo and welcome to the 12 Days of Christmas Crafts event where I'm sharing a brand new holiday themed faux leather craft for your Cricut every day for 12 days. In today's video, we'll be making this really cute notebook cover, and you can see there are some cute gingerbread houses. I've decided to make them in pastel themed colors, but you can also make them in gingerbread colors. I'll show you how to do that when we get to our design space portion. And I will let you know how to get the SVG file for this project in just a moment, but first let's go over the tools and materials we'll be using. So first of all, I wanted to mention this is a large template, so you will need one of the larger Cricut machines, either the Cricut Maker, the Maker 3, the Explore Air 2, or the Explore 3. And that's because we need to use the big 12 by 12 mats to cut this project. Now the faux leather that I'm using, this happens to be a sheet, but you could also use rolls of faux leather as long as they are 12 inches wide. So this is a 12-inch by 9-inch piece of faux leather. If you have the roll, then you'll just use the 12-inch width and you'll cut it off so that our little template will fit. And the notebooks that this fits, they're called an A5 size, and these are from Amazon. I'll leave links for you. And what's fun about these is you can get them with lines or blank, and these little notebooks make great gifts. They have a really easy closure. It's just going to have an elastic closure, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'm just using 2mm elastic for that. The heat transfer vinyl that I'm using Caesar Easy Weed in lots of different colors. We need a color for the icing, and then I have 4 different colors for the houses, and then I have 4 different colors of glitter heat transfer vinyl to create those little accents on the houses. Those again can be your choice of colors. Now to press the heat transfer vinyl onto the faux leather, I'll be using my Easy Press Mini since I'm here in this small area at my desk, but you could use a larger heat press or a regular Easy Press if that's what you have. We'll use some blue painter's tape to help us get good cuts, and I'll also show you how you can add some little optional fun elements like a faux suede tassel or a cute little charm like this little gingerbread man. So let's go ahead, let me show you how to grab the SVG for this project. Then we'll hop into Design Space and talk about the template and then get started on our project. To get the SVG files for this project, visit amyromeo.com/Christmas24, or you could upgrade to the event VIP pass where you'll get instant access to all the event projects and tutorials, plus a workbook, some bonuses, and more. Starting with a blank canvas in Cricut Design Space, you'll click on Upload and then Upload Image, and you're going to browse to where the unzipped SVG file for this project is saved on your device. Click on it to select it and then click Open. You'll see a preview of the design. Click Continue and then click Upload. I'm going to zoom out a little. So this is our design. It has 10 layers, which might sound intimidating, but it's pretty simple when we walk through it. So let's talk about it. First, I'm going to ungroup all of my layers here so I can show you some things about them. So the back layer is our faux leather layer. I'll be cutting it from a light blue, but you could use any color you want. This is our only faux leather layer in the project. The rest are going to cut from heat transfer vinyl. So let me just turn that off for a second so we can continue to talk about the layers. This white layer here, this is what is going to cover all of the little houses in their cute little icing layer. So let me turn that off too for a moment. We'll also have 4 house layers. Now I've cut them from different colors. You can choose your own colors, or you could cut them all from gingerbread, which I'll show you in just a moment. And then we have our 4 different layers of candy elements to just add some spice and interest to the design. Now, if you wanted to do this entire theme in just 2 colors, the brown being gingerbread and maybe red for all the elements, you can just click on all of these little houses and you can change them to brown, and then you could click on all of the little element decorative areas and you could change them to red, and then you would only be working with the white for the icing, the brown for the houses, and then red for the decorative elements. But I want to show you how to cut them from all the different cute colors. So we don't need to change the size on this. In fact, it's important that we don't change the size on this because it is perfectly sized to be able to cut on our 12 by 12 mat. So we'll click the Make It button. And we're cutting all of the materials on a mat. And you can see how large this design is and how much it takes up on that 12 by 12 mat. So the first thing we want to do, very important, we want to go through and click on every single one of these mats and click the mirror toggle on, because faux leather and heat transfer vinyl cut in reverse. So once we've done that, then I want to go through and just drag my shapes away from the edges a little bit. That just helps when cutting vinyl, in my opinion. So once we've done that, then I want to go and click on that faux leather mat because I like to cut that one first. Click continue. And the faux leather mat will cut using the faux leather paper thin setting. If you don't have this bookmarked as a favorite like I do, you can click on browse all materials and search for it. If you're using the Explorer Air 2, you'll need to turn your dial to custom before you can find this setting when you search. So for the faux leather mat, faux leather paper thin, and more pressure. This is the reminder that we're just using the regular fine point blade that comes with all of the current Cricut machines. Then for each of these heat transfer vinyl layers, you will cut those out using the manufacturer's recommended cut settings for your particular brand and type of heat transfer vinyl. Okay, let's hop back over to my overhead camera and we will start to get our project cut out. So I have my piece of faux leather ready to go. Remember, this is that larger size, 12 inches wide and then 9 inches tall. If you're using a roll, just cut yourself a piece that large. I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to place it right up here where I know my shape is going to cut out that I saw in the mat preview screen. It's really important that your faux leather comes all the way to the edges. And then we're going to use some blue painter's tape and just tape this down on all sides. So we have our faux leather paper thin setting with more pressure all set to go. So we'll just load our mat into the machine and begin the cut. So our mat has cut one time. It's really a simple shape, a very large rectangle and then the little hole cutouts. But I always like to use a sharp weeding tool and just lift up the edge of the cut to see if it went all the way through. If it didn't, you can rerun the cut as many times as you need to just by pressing that cut button again. And you want to be sure to do that before you unload your mat. Once you unload your mat, you cannot repeat your cut. So let me just pop in here and see how these circles cut out, and those look pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and unload my mat. I'll remove my shape. And you can see that top little hole popped straight out. If it didn't, you can use some small curved scissors just to help trim away any little fuzzies or help you trim the holes. I've got some blue painter's tape here on the edge. I'll just remove that. And this is basically our little notebook cover. So we'll have two little holiday houses on the front and two on the back with our elastic that closes it up here. Now normally I would show you how to cut all the heat transfer vinyl layers, but because there's so many, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of those off camera so that when we come back, I will show you how to press the notebook cover. One last thing I wanted to mention, you'll notice that there's nothing on the inside of the cover in terms of the faux leather. So this is basically the front of the faux leather. This is the back, and there's nothing here to add some color or add some structure. If you wanted to put something on the inside, I recommend heat transfer vinyl, and there's two ways to do that. One is to press heat transfer vinyl onto the back of your faux leather before you cut it, or you can cut this exact cover shape again from heat transfer vinyl, the heat transfer vinyl of your choice, and then press it on the faux leather before we flip over and press on the other side. Okay, so let me get ready to show you how to press and finish off this notebook project. Okay, so I've gone ahead, as I mentioned, and I've already cut all of my heat transfer vinyl layers. So remember, there are 9 heat transfer vinyl layers, one for each of the back of the houses, one for each of the colorful accents on the houses, so that's 8, and then one is going to be the icing and the snow layer. So I actually cut them all out and stuck them onto the clear cover sheet of my Cricut mat just to sort of dry fit them together and see how they all go together. So what I'm going to do is start taking apart these little layers. Okay, so I've got all of my little layers separated out here. And I wanted to show you a trick that I've created so that you can easily put these little houses together. So whether you make all of these brown to make them gingerbread or you have them different colors like I do, I wanted to show you at the very bottom I've created a little arrow shape so that you know where the houses fit together. So see that little gap right there? You'll put these two pieces right next to each other when you press, and that way all of our little houses are going to line up with the icing layer on top. Now the first piece we're going to put is this one because it has the little cutout hole. We're going to line up this cutout hole with the center hole on our notebook cover, and we're going to line up the bottom row of our houses with the bottom row of our notebook. Okay, so that's how we're going to start this off, and we know that we are pressing everything in the right area. Okay, so here's my little blue layer. I'm going to line that up with the hole with the hole, line up the bottom area of the house there. That might be a little hard to see because it's blue on blue, but you get the idea. Now these are large shapes and it is a little unusual to be pressing with my Easy Press Mini, but I'm doing that just for the demonstration. You can use a larger heat press if that's what you have. I have a Teflon sheet and I'm just going to cover this up and I'm going to press all over. So I'll speed up parts as I press, but you'll get the idea. I'm using my Easy Press Mini on the low setting. If you're using a regular heat press, I would set it to about 265 degrees. And I'm just going to press all over for about 10 seconds on each area. So I've pressed all over. I'm going to remove my carrier sheet there and just try and peel away this clear sheet. If my vinyl lifts up as I'm doing this, I'm just going to place this right back down and press some more. Just go slowly so you can look for any lifting. So I have a little lifting there. Let's see. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to cover again and just press for a few more seconds all over. And that looks really good. So once we have this first section in place, now we know where to place all of our other pieces. So let me go ahead and I'll get the pink one. And now I'm just going to go through and press all of these. So I've gone ahead and pressed the entire icing layer. Now I'm just going to slowly peel this back. If we need to stop and we need to repress something, it's no big deal. This is looking pretty good so far. I see a few little tiny areas lifting just a bit, but that's okay because we're going to cover and press again. First, let me show you how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to cover again. Now that we've removed that clear carrier sheet, just cover and press those little spots I saw lift up a little bit. I'm going to let this cool flat for just a minute underneath my pressing pad, and then I'm going to press all of our little accent elements. So the little cover has cooled for about a minute, and now I'm just going to go and start pressing all of these cute little glitter details. So basically we're just looking for where to place our little glitter details here. On this one, the little peppermint circle is going to line up on the circle below it, and then you want to line up those little hearts down there and the little arches over the windows. So I've got all of those little accent details pressed on. I'm just going to cover one more time and press, and then let this cool for a minute underneath my heat pressing pad. So my little notebook cover has cooled flat, and now we're going to add the elastic to create the notebook. So I have a piece of 2mm elastic cord. This is about 3 feet long. You can give yourself a few more inches if you like. What I'm going to do is put both of the ends together, and I'm going to feed them down through the center hole here of my notebook. I think I'm going to trim those ends a little bit pointy. You might need to use tweezers or pliers to help you get these in. We don't want the hole to be any bigger because then the knot could pull through. So I'm just kind of getting both of those in there. Then you're going to pull, and you want the two ends on the other side to be even, and then pull this so that it's even. There we go. And then we want about 10 inches coming out of this side. So 5 inches this way, 5 inches this way. So I'm just going to figure out what that is here by using my little grid lines on my work area. I'm just going to pull a little bit. Now this is going to be the flap. This is going to be the elastic tie that goes around the notebook to hold it closed. And let's see, that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to open this and tie a knot right here, leaving that 10-inch loop on the outside. Try to get that knot real close to the notebook. There we go. And then you should have 2 strings like this and your loop outside here. So now what we're going to do is take our elastic and take one of your elastics and have it go up inside, coming out the back, that top hole. Then I'm going to push my elastic cord through. Okay. Now we're going to take our notebook, open it up to the center, place it down in our notebook cover, and then all we need to do is bring these 2 elastic cords together in the center and tie a knot. After you tie your knot, you can trim that a little closer. And then fold up your little notebook cover. Isn't that cute? And let me show you how the elastic band goes around, just like that. And now let me show you how to add a little tassel. And I found a really cute little gingerbread man charm, and I'll link to these for you. I'm just going to add our little faux suede tassel and our gingerbread man. I'm going to use some, I think these are 8mm jump rings. I would recommend 8 or 10mm jump rings. I'm just going to open up that little jump ring. I have the opening facing up. I'm going to open, slide on my little tassel, and then just attach that to the elastic. And I'll hold that up so you can see that a little better. It's just on there and it moves freely. And then we'll do the same thing for the little gingerbread man. Open up the jump ring, attach the little gingerbread man, and then attach it to the elastic. So there's our little Holiday Houses notebook cover. I really hope you enjoy this project, and thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.